Hi everyone, good evening. Our top lead this evening. It is a big setback for ex-Congress chief Rahul Gandhi. The Gujarat High Court has rejected the review petition filed by him in the Modi surname defamation case. Dismissing his plea, the Gujarat High Court said a stay on conviction is an exception, not the rule. He also observed that the case had serious implications as this was not about defaming one person but a large section of society. The judge in his order also observed that at least 10 criminal cases are pending against the Congress leader, including one filed by the grandson of Veer Savarkar. The Congress says the decision was expected and has decided to move the top court, which is the Supreme Court. Now, if you remember, earlier, a Surat court had convicted Mr. Rahul Gandhi in the Modi surname case and had sentenced him to 2 years in prison. That's the maximum sentence in a defamation case. The conviction led to his immediate disqualification as a member of parliament. The Congress has accused the BJP of strangling democracy, while the BJP is calling Rahul Gandhi a serial offender. Listen in.
So you have no control on your tongue कि आप कुछ भी बोल देंगे. और जब आपको कोर्ट ने कहा कि राहुल गांधी जी आप माफी मांगेंगे, तो साहब आप सीधा मैं सावरकर नहीं हूं कि माफी मांगूंगा. This is, I would say, irresponsible arrogance. गैर जिम्मेदार अहंकार है. अगर 10-10 आप खिलाफ डिफेमेशन के मामले चलते हैं, आप सावरकर को कुछ भी बोल देंगे, आप संघ के बारे में क्या क्या टिप्पणी नहीं करेंगे, आप आर्मी के खून की दलाली का हिसाब मांगेंगे, आप चुनाव आयोग को क्या नहीं बोलेंगे, आप मीडिया को बिका हुआ बोलेंगे, भारत में लोकतंत्र खत्म हो गया बोलेंगे, तो ये तो सुपर सीरियल ऑफेंडर हैं जहां तक अब्यूज का सवाल है.
Let me go straight across to Abhishek Singhvi, who's a Congress MP, also the legal lead for the team that is batting for Mr. Rahul Gandhi in the courts. Mr. Singhvi, first of all, thank you very much for your time here on Mirror Now. Good to have you on the show as always. Sir, in your press conference today, you have said that you have full faith in the judiciary. Do you say it because the stay on conviction is not the rule, or do you say it because of some other reason?
I choose my words carefully, despite any attempts at distortion. I said it's very disappointing, but not unexpected. That's different from saying it's expected. Second, there is a whole ambience created. I am openly saying that it is highly unsustainable, erroneous, wrong. That is my right to say so. There is no diminution in the respect for the judiciary in my saying so. The two are not at all contradictory. We are now very confident that the Supreme Court will reverse a wrong judgment. And let me tell you why it's an utterly wrong judgment. I'll give only a few examples. I don't intend to be legalistic for your viewers here. Take, for example, a particular part of the judgment, which incidentally we got only today at 3 p.m. or so, after 66 odd days. The hearing was concluded on 2nd of May. The learned judge goes to the extent of saying this is moral turpitude. It shows the direction from which he's coming. Now, anybody who has examined the law knows that moral turpitude is a term of art reserved for issues like rape, murder. I don't think anybody ever has characterized a defamation offense with a maximum term of 2 years as a moral turpitude. The judge is clearly colored by that finding in a particular para 45 of his judgment. That's completely, it is on the face of it, it shows not the error, it shows the direction from which the learned judge is examining the matter. Similarly, in the previous para, there is a suggestion as if it's serious, serious, and serious. Every time the word serious is repeated, again, trying to club it with matters like murder or rape, etc. The legislature is not a foolish entity to give a maximum 2-year sentence for something which the learned judge describes again and again as serious, serious, and serious. Yes, it's an offense, but every offense is not equally serious. Third, the question is not answered that whoever is defamed, and again the Prime Minister's name is taken, but the Prime Minister is not the complainant, The question is not answered, raised again and again, that anyone out of 13 crore alleged people with that surname would have locus to file. So I can file against you as one amongst the 13 crores, and I have locus, even though the actual aggrieved party does not file. And the one of the 13 crore people who filed show no damage, no loss. These are not questions answered. Forget right or wrong. Take, for example, much said Veer Savarkar point by the previous speaker whom you showed. Do you know, Shreya, that the Veer Savarkar complaint was filed 1 month after the present complaint was decided in March. The trial court decided the present complaint in March. The Savarkar thing was filed afterwards. The matter was not pleaded in the appeal in the High Court by the other side. On the last day of hearing on 2nd of May, a cutting was handed across. And that apparently, astonishingly, becomes a major basis for the judgment, which at 10:30 today, when the judge said that the copy will be available at 2:30, was mentioned by the judge as an additional reason. And it finds mention in para 63. There is a discipline of the law, and there are many more reasons. I mean, I can go
Mr.
on and on. My point is that mere repetition of error by a High Court does not make it correct. That's why there is a Supreme Court, and I'm sure, I'm confident that such patent errors will be reversed.
Mr. Singhvi, the judgment is 123 pages long, and it's laying down 5 major points. They say, and you've said this, but I wanted to take you up on this point as well once again. The court is saying that the offense is very serious because it is not about one man. It is not about Narendra Modi who has been defamed. It's about an entire community, the Modi community, that has been defamed. That it's not just Narendra Modi who has been defamed, that the entire community has been defamed. And what Mr. Singhvi, the court is also saying is that what is making it worse, and I'm of course just paraphrasing the court, is that Mr. Gandhi is a public person and his utterances attract widespread publication.
Can I answer now? Now,
yes.
Please show me any judgment which applies a special law to a public servant. So if the law does not apply generally, then that principle will not apply to Rahul Gandhi because he's a public servant. On the contrary, a public servant has a greater latitude of free speech, free expression, if he's raising matters in a public campaign of public interest. Rahul Gandhi has a right to criticize and condemn. He may not be strictly right, but even if he's not right in his condemnation in a political campaign, it doesn't amount to defamation. Defamation has to be with malice aforethought. It has to be in terms of a malicious campaign which can sustain a conviction for defamation. Now, your point about the community. Does the learned judge address anywhere that the very concept of a defined community is wrong? It's an undefined, amorphous entity. There is material which we put on record, which is there in the contention the judge has noted. That there is no defined community is my contention. And secondly, let me tell you, assuming there is something called a Modi community, there is not a single judgment which suggests that any one out of the estimated 13 crore people or 10 crore, doesn't matter how many crore people of that community, anyone can sustain a defamation complaint without showing actual personal damage. Rahul Gandhi gives a 2 or 3 page speech in which there is a 1.5 sentence on this issue. The persons named, clearly identified is Mr. Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi doesn't file a complaint. None of the other Modis file a complaint. But according to this judgment, any of the other Modis on this amorphous, undefined class have locus to file. There is no such law I have found anywhere till now. And imagine the repercussions, Shreya,
so,
if this principle of law is correct.
Can I just ask you this then?
Defamation suits every day without showing loss, without showing damage. Saying you are from some Dhondiyal community, you have no connection with the remark which I am making about Dhondiyals, but because you're a Dhondiyal, you feel aggrieved to file and sustain. That is not the law. Not for a criminal offense, not even for a civil offense.
Okay. Mr. Singhvi, look, maybe at another point, this country will need to have a debate about whether or not we need a defamation law, right?
That's not
Because
true.
nowhere in any Western democracy will you see a politician suing a politician for a political speech that has been made, right? But here's the thing. In your view, should Rahul Gandhi have apologized for the statement he made? There was simply no reason for him to make that statement. It was in bad taste. It was in poor taste. Should he have simply apologized, said, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, and moved on?
Let's be very clear. Let's be very clear. The answer is an emphatic no. You have just said that in a political campaign, you make a general statement, nobody identified in the statement sues. Somebody, all of persons who sue are BJP office bearers. Not only in this matter, in all the other matters across the country. The source is always the BJP. Nobody else feels aggrieved. The real person doesn't sue. And he should apologize, number one. Number two, today, why is this apology issue being raised? It's completely irrelevant. I have a conviction. I have a right to set aside that conviction because it's illegal in law. Today, there is a disqualification based on that conviction. Have you ever found a person who will be disqualified for 8 years for a defamation offense carrying a maximum of 2 years? I think the only answer is here. The object is totally different. Get a coterie of BJP office bearers across the country to keep filing complaints. Why? For one object only. Throttle free speech, throttle free expression, throttle free thinking. I raise 10 issues tomorrow, suppose. Rafael to whatever. It's not proved in court. They may be wrong. They may be partially wrong. Can you sustain a defamation conviction in a political campaign because I criticize you and condemn you? Unless I prove in every sentence I say, I go and prove. Otherwise, you will convict me. I mean, this is unheard of. This is actually nothing but harassment, orchestrated harassment, something which is organized to stop Rahul Gandhi from showing truth to power. He speaks up fearlessly. He doesn't get cowed down. So you have across the country, all the 10 cases repeatedly referred by the judgment are cases where he's not convicted, he's accused. But have you asked who has filed those 10 cases? In every case, a BJP office bearer.
In this case, the Congress party, sir, and you in the press conference have argued that this is a conspiracy against Mr. Rahul Gandhi. You've just said it as well, that democracy is being throttled. Mr. Singhvi, my last question to you, how is this a conspiracy? He said what he said. It's on record, right? He said it at a public rally. A BJP leader whose own surname is Modi took umbrage and filed a defamation suit. He was upset, he was angry, he filed a defamation suit. Why say this is throttling democracy or a conspiracy against Rahul Gandhi there?
Because on the same, very clearly why. Take this sentence alone, 1.5 sentences out of 3 pages speech. 3 BJP, I'm sorry madam, not one. 3 BJP office bearers filed 3 complaints, one in Jharkhand, one in Gujarat and one elsewhere, 3, for a speech in Kolar. Apart from that, 10 have filed for other speeches. Is it not an attempt to, and who is that common man who has filed? Who is this complainant? He's not a common man. He's an office bearer of Gujarat BJP. The chap in Jharkhand is an office bearer there. So who is aggrieved? If at all somebody is aggrieved, it is Nirav Modi, Prime Minister Modi, or some third Modi. They have not filed. And who has told you that the law permits me to file just because I carry that surname? We have shown that Modi are different communities. The surname Modi is carried by totally radically different communities. Have you ever heard of a criminal locus of any member out of what one of the pleading shows is estimated 10 to 13 crore people? This is a fundamental error. If you start sustaining criminal convictions like this, then there will be no free speech. I have no hesitation in saying that this is an attempt to go across the country.
Error then in our country? Okay. Is it also an error then not to discuss decriminalizing defamation? Has the time come? Maybe that's a discussion for another time, Mr. Singhvi. But we leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much for your time here on Mirror Now. Thank you very much indeed. Always good.
No, 1 minute, Shreya. There is an irony there. 1 minute. Decriminalization of defamation is not the issue today, and we're not discussing it rightly. But I'll tell you the irony. Just Subramaniam Swami judgment is already there. Where I appeared against Mr. Subramaniam Swami, argued that the provision for criminal defamation is not unconstitutional. Nothing to do with this case. I was generally arguing in law. and I succeeded. So the law today as it stands is that criminal defamation is not unconstitutional. Perhaps because of that victory in that case. But we're not arguing that today. This is just an irony I'm pointing out.
That's for some other time then. We'll leave it there, Mr. Singhvi. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us.